Good morning, first graders. Today we are on page 201 and we are on lesson 7. We are going to be continuing with what we did yesterday. So remember yesterday we had problems where some were telling time to the hour and some were telling time to the half hour, and it was our job to know which ones were which. So today our objective is going to be the same. Today I will tell time to the hour and half hour. And we have to know which one is which. So remember, in our vocabulary it tells us that when our minute hand is pointing to the 12, that's when it's telling time to the hour. And we show that by putting 2 zeros. Now, when we tell time to the half hour, our minute hand is going to be pointing to the 6. And we tell or write that by writing 30, because 30 is half of 60, and 60 minutes are in an hour. Okay, so our steps that we've been using for this unit is we always look at our clock, but then we identify the hour hand first. Remember, our hour hand is our short hand. Then we identify the minute hand, which is our long hand. Okay, so what does this look like, boys and girls? I'm going to show you mine first. So here's my first one. My first one is, I see an analog face clock, and I need to figure out which hand is my hour hand. So I know my hour hand's the short one. So this is my hour hand right here. And my hour hand passed the 5, but it didn't make it to the 6 yet, which tells me my hour is going to be 5. And remember, my hour goes in front. Now my minute hand is the 6. It's pointing to the 6. That tells me that a half hour has passed. And a half hour is the same as 30 minutes. So I would write 5:30. Okay, see another one. Here's my analog face clock. And I'm gonna first find my my hour hand. So my hour hand's my short one. And here is my short hand pointing to the 7. So my hour is 7. And my minute hand is pointing to the 12, which I'm going to write 00. That tells me it is exactly 7 o'clock. Okay, so boys and girls, let's try some of these together. We're on page 202. Okay, my first one is a little tricky, and we've seen one of these before. We've seen when it was tricky, like this. So this looks tricky because when I first look at it really quickly, it looks like there's only one hand. And I know there needs to be 2 hands. But when I look a little bit closer, boys and girls, what I notice is it looks like there's a short hand on top of a long hand. It looks like both the hour hand and the minute hand are right here. So what that tells me is if my shorter hand is pointing to 12, I know my hour is 12. But then if the longer hand is also pointing to 12, that means my minutes is going to be 00, which means that this says 12 o'clock exactly. Okay, let's look at another one. Here what I see is I'm going to look for my hour hand first. I always find my hour hand or short hand first. So here's my short hand, and my short hand here passed the 8, but it didn't meet the 9 yet, which means my hour is going to be 8, and my minute hand is pointing to the 6, which tells me it's a half hour, and a half hour is equal to 30 minutes. So this time says 8:30. Okay, so boys and girls, what you're going to be doing is you're going to turn the page, do page 203 and 204. Have a good day.